Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that if you're returning. How you doing? Um, what we're going to be talking about today are quite a few things, okay? And these are very important things. The first thing is that possibly by January 15th, which is in just a few days, there's another potential port strike that is looming. On the east and the Gulf Coast, with negotiations between the International Longshoremen's Association and the United States Maritime Alliance. And they are facing a critical deadline on January 15th. And this strike could disrupt billions in trade, potentially causing delays in goods shipments, higher prices, and supply chain issues. Yes. So stock up while you still can for a just in case.
And hello, everyone. I know the fires in California has everyone's attention on that right now, but let me share some information with you that you might not have seen. And you remember about 3 months ago, there was a port issue. Well, it looks like that port issue is coming up again. Let me read some of this to you. A potential U.S. port strike looms on January 16th, rising concerns just 3 months after a brief October work stoppage closed major East and Gulf Coast ports. The October strike ended with a tentative agreement between International Longshoremen's Association and the United States Maritime Alliance, which addressed wage increases but deferred critical issues, including job security and automation fears. Dock workers whose roles are increasingly affected by automated systems like AI powered sensors and blockchain are demanding safeguards as negotiations resume on January the 7th. If unresolved, more than 20,000 workers could strike, halting port activity from New York to Houston, disrupting supply chains, and potentially reducing U.S. economy activity by 4.5 to 7.5 billion weekly. Sound like a peaceful transfer of power to you? The looming deadline coincides with presidential-elect Donald Trump's inauguration on January the 20th, adding political strike. Trump has voiced support for dock workers against automation, but faces pressure to intervene, potentially invoking the 1947 Taft-Hartley Act to mandate an 80-day cooling off period. Businesses have stockpiled goods and adjusted supply chain, but an extended strike could impact retail's, manufacturers, and border economy. Does this sound like a peaceful transfer of power to you? I think the Democrats probably planned some of this. Now we have the fires on the West Coast, which is not going to be completely resolved by the time President Trump is sworn in on January the 20th, because it's going to be ongoing. People are not going to have their lives back. And the same thing if they have this strike taking place on the East Coast and on the South with these ports, it's going to cause disruption in our economy. Kind of sounds like this is on purpose. LFA TV will stay on top of these stories. To get more information like this, please follow and subscribe. My name is Will Johnson, reporting for LFA TV.
Now, when I saw this, I said, you've got to be kidding me. Of all times, for something like this to happen. The Louisiana mayor has been arrested in connection with substance and prostitution investigation, allegedly using taxpayer money to rent an Airbnb for a prostitute. Yeah. And this guy is a mayor of Bogalusa, and that's B-O-G-A-L-U-S-A. Yeah. His name is Tyrin, Tyrin Truong, Truong. He's 25 years old. And he was charged with solicitation and substance-related offenses, among other charges. Now, he is allegedly organized entertainment, okay, with this solicitation at an Airbnb that was rented with public funding during a mayor's conference in Atlanta. And he's also charged with buying substances in Louisiana. And this investigation found a substance trafficking organization in Bogalusa distributing certain substances. Okay, there's 4 different types of substances. Mary Jane, 3-letter T, starts with a T, ends with a C, products, and 4 letters, fucking charades, M, D, M&M's, A, using social media for sales and payment. Yeah. And profits for these sales were used to purchase firearms, some of which were smuggled to people prohibited from possessing them or linked to violent crimes in the area. This guy's a thug. No shit. A thug as a mayor. I mean, so you all know who Patricia Heaton is, right? She's an actress. And she's calling out the leaders of California. She's calling them out, and rightfully so. She says that this fire was preventable, and she has questions that she asks. Like, why was Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass in Africa unnecessarily during fire season on taxpayer funds, when she should be using that money to fund the fire department? Why would Karen Bass cut funds by $17 million to the fire department when fire hazard is the #1 hazard in Los Angeles? Why were the fire hazards dry, the hydrants? And why are Californians paying all these taxes to see their neighborhoods go up in smoke? And leaders like Newsom and Bass, they must resign, she says. I have to agree.
To see what's happening in the Pacific Palisades in California, in Los Angeles. So many good friends who worked really hard for years and created beautiful homes for themselves and their families. It's all going up in smoke, and preventable, by the way. I mean, we have a mayor who cut the budget of the fire department in California by over $17 million. Fire is the biggest hazard in Los Angeles. Why would you cut that budget? There was no water in the fire hydrants in the Palisades. And by the way, she wasn't even in town during like fire season. A completely stupid trip to Ghana, completely unnecessary, on taxpayer funds. Maybe stop doing those trips and fund the fire department. This is what's infuriating. I don't hate California. I love California. We had 32 beautiful years there, and the people running the show just decimated the place. Drugs, homelessness with mentally ill people on the streets, crime. Our next door neighbors were burglarized there. Taxes. What are you paying all these taxes for? To see your neighborhood go up in smoke. It's so enraging that they took one of the most beautiful states, maybe the most beautiful state in the Union, and just continued to destroy it. Gavin Newsom standing there with his hands in his pockets. Oh well. I just really feel for everybody there. I really do.
So here's a beautiful picture that was sent in by a community member. And she said that she took this picture on the way to the doctor's. It's pretty. Thank you. And this this picture was sent in by my meme guy. And he said, his smile reminds me of the Cheshire Cat. I have to agree with you on that one. And I leave you with this, okay? This was sent in by a community member. And it's beautiful, the way he wrote this.
The question is, do you have faith? Or, do you know? If you have faith, then there is still room if there's just the tiniest hint of doubt. Because after all, you have faith. Our God has given us the grace covered in the blood to cover all gaps in faith. All hesitations are covered with God's grace. All spotted moments of doubt or inconsistencies in our actions towards one another. When we have faith, we face the adversaries and the trials with the faith of Christ being with us. Yet we explain to others, we do not see physically Jesus there, but we have faith that he is working with us or beside us, knowing, on the other hand, it's much more detailed and inclusive. There is no doubt. Because we had faith, we now know. Because we now know, we never doubt. We humbly accept the grace, because we know that the blood discovered and covered everything that we will and did miss. We scorn ourselves daily as to how we could have served better, those we served that day. If for nothing else, to change our attitude to better it for tomorrow, to those we may serve. We face and look for, humbly, adversaries and trials because Christ is with us. We look for a reason to show Christ right in front of them, in front of the task at hand, by our sides, behind the scenes and in people's lives. Everything is for his will. Jesus said, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, if you had faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you." Small faith? What would you be able to do with faith the size of the mountain? Knowing is greater than the mountain, because not only is God with you, he is in and working through you. If you let him, when you know, you can lead others to faith. Because you know, the blood will cover the gaps with grace. So the question remains, do you have faith? Or do you know?